Hey, what is up guys, and welcome back to the channel. So in today's video I'm bringing you a brand new Gran Turismo 7 money making method. This is using a car that I did not expect you could use. There was a single comment in one of my previous videos basically pointing out this car. So sadly I can't find the comment now, but big shout out to them, whoever recommended it. You probably know who you are. Also a big shout out to Reddit user 13C Schamberg for the, I guess the more, the basic tune. I did have to make a few adjustments to get it to the performance points that I needed, but pretty much spot on, and a big shout out to him. So the car we're going to be using is the F1500TA. This is obviously for sale in the Gran Turismo dealership for $1 million, so not a bad price. And obviously you're getting a very cool looking classic Formula 1 car style. Very good performance, a bit of a weird one because I never expected this to be able to kind of grind money. I thought it was just kind of like a more of a time trial car, but it turns out very usable. Another way to get this car is get all golds on the Gone with the Wind mission challenges. It is one of the more difficult ones in the game, so if you kind of want to grind through that, or if you've already done it, you'll pretty much have this car for free. I guess at this point in the game's life cycle I kind of recommend just putting out the 1 million just to get the car straight up. But yeah, I mean, it's kind of all your choice. If you haven't done it already, it is a bit of a difficult one. So let's take you through the tune. You want racing hard tyres, you want your body height adjustment at 55-59, anti-roll bar at 10-1, dampening ratio 34-38. You don't have to touch these next two. You want your negative camber angle at 3.0 and 0.0. You want your toe angle pointing out at 1 and toe angle pointing out in at 0.25. On the differential initial torque you want 13, 20 and then 5, and your downforce you want 843 and 1700. Fully customizable ECU you want at 70. Then you want your ballast at 3, ballast positioning at 16, and your power restrictor at 70. You want to make sure you've got a fully customizable racing transmission, set it at 320, and this is going to be the manual adjustment. So you want 3.500-97, 2.281-148, 1.696-200, 1.288-263, and in fifth you want 1.014-349 with a final of 4.212. So that is going to be a tune. Feel free to pause it at any moment to basically, get a better look at it. So the event we're going to be using is pretty much my go-to. It's in Europe. It's the Sardinia road track in Italy, and it's the World Touring Car 800 event. Pretty much my go-to for a lot of grinding. There's some very good and usable cars for this event, and another one's been added to the list now. Okay, so it's a bit of a weird strategy to use this car, but let's get into it anyway. So you want your power at 1. You won't have to adjust this at any point throughout any of the event. It's basically a 2 pit stop method, so pitting more than usual, but you don't kind of need to worry about that. Just set your AI difficulty to easy. Obviously if we're just grinding money, there's nothing worse than making a mistake and pretty much losing all that money that you're out there for, I'd say around average of 25 minutes or so trying to get. So just bump them down to easy and you should pretty much fly past them. It does take a bit of a learning curve to get used to the car. This was my first run with it. Kind of the poster on Reddit claims that they can get sub 25 minutes with this car, and I'm pretty much believing them at this point. It seems very easy once you are used to this car, that you could easily smash under 25 minutes consistently. So basically on lap 1 you're going to kind of focus on not getting caught up in the pack and just kind of trying to get through as many as possible. It's a little bit awkward because some of the track is very tight, so it's kind of a case of trying to slip through. As you can see, just getting caught in the pack here. The AI a little bit dumb because it will act like you're not there, so they'll basically kind of bump you into walls and such. But as you can see, we're just nicely trying to get through. Just going to slip on the inside of them constantly. Obviously the car's pretty much all over the place because we're in a bit of a pack. We're going to try and get down the inside here, take a little bump, but we're going to catch it and we're pretty much going to fly off now because this car is absolutely insane in a straight line. So that is going to be the first lap. Like I said, you're going to spend it mainly getting out of the pack and getting into some basically clean air ready for the rest of the grid. As you can see by the first half of lap 3, we're basically just going to fly past the leader here, no problems at all. Just obviously once you've learned the line, you'll know exactly where they're going to be on track, and we're just going to fly past him, take the lead and pretty much never look back. So one thing to note is on these corners here, you're looking for the 100 board on the right hand side. That is basically your brake marker, or maybe a tiny bit after. And another awkward corner is here, and again it's looking out for the 100 board. The brakes are very good on this car, and you just kind of want to get down the gears, mainly take that corner in second gear, and away you go. And again, the last awkward corner on the right hand side, you're looking for the 100 board. Don't use first, use second or short shift from first to second, and that is going to be the most awkward corners. I thought I'd kind of point them out where your braking zones are going to be. So at the beginning of lap 5, basically the car that was leading originally is going to pit in. Pretty much he's going to be no bother whatsoever at this point. And at the end of lap 5, we're going to come in for our first pit stop of the race. So this is the method you're going to be using when you pit stop. You want to make sure that you don't change the tyres. Throughout this whole race, you shouldn't have to change them at all. And you're going to want to fill the car to basically full fuel. So thankfully pit stop number 1 is going to be out of the way and done with. What you're basically hoping for is that you should be able to just stay out in front even after your pit stop. Hopefully the rest of the AI won't catch you. On my run here they didn't catch me, but make sure as you're coming out you look behind you just for a split second, just to make sure none of the cars are kind of barreling down that straight, because the AI can be a little bit dumb at times, and they will basically just wipe you out. As you can see, a bunch of the other cars are going to pit in now. Most cars in this are on a 2-stop strategy, I believe, but some will pit 3 times. I believe the Dodge Viper is the one that pits 3 times that I know of, and then I think there is a couple of cars that might be on a 1-stop strategy, kind of where they'll pit in the later stage of the race. But they're pretty much the back markers, so you shouldn't have to worry about them at all. So as you can see by lap 8, I'm kind of in traffic now. This is kind of a big thing to mention. Don't get stuck behind them, because it will cost you a lot of time. Obviously if you're grinding money, the last thing you want to do is kind of spend time stuck behind traffic. They are much slower than you. Just be careful though, because if they are battling it out, they will kind of come across your line and wipe you out. They don't really care. They basically act like you don't exist. So it's kind of the same thing as when you're coming out the pits. Just be very careful and be mindful that these cars can be pretty unpredictable at times. But as you can see, we've managed to get through them nice and cleanly without losing too much time over the course of a full lap. So end of lap 10, we are going to take our last pit stop of the race. And again, do not change your tyres. Like I said, you shouldn't feel any performance drop off in the hard tyres throughout this whole event. I know for me, I didn't feel any slight drop off in performance. The car seeming to work very well on the hard tyres, and although it says not to fill to full to get to the end of the event, I just put a full tank in anyway. It's not going to cost us too much time, maybe like half a second just to put that extra bit of fuel in. And again, this is what I mean by looking behind you as you exit the pits, because they will come barreling down that straight. Luckily I kind of managed to just pull away a bit quicker than the GTR could catch up, and not kind of get barreled into, but it has happened. That corner's notorious for being taken out. So lap 11, we've got a bunch of the other cars pitting again, so just be careful if it's your turn coming down the street and they're coming out the pits. Again, they may come into the track and basically act like you are not there, so just be careful, just be mindful. It has happened to me a few times in the past, and we're going to go the long way around here, past the Mercedes. So we're on the 15th and final lap. Pretty much a whole very quick race done. Another thing to note is the car's very catchable if the back end does come out. As you can see, our fastest lap time was lap 13, so late on into the race I managed to pull out a 136.9 because I wasn't in the traffic. I feel like when you get used to this car, a 130, I'd say 136 to 138 is pretty much going to be the lap time you're going to be pretty much getting consistently. There's no reason why you can't. It's just like a bit of a weird adjustment to this car, but when you do nail those laps you will know about it, and that time will probably come absolutely tumbling down. I did kind of try kind of no stop methods and such, but they just didn't feel right with this car. I definitely find the two-stop strategy to be the best, and that is the one that was recommended by the Reddit user. So absolutely no problems there. Let's go and look at the overall time. So as you can see, we did it in a total of 25 minutes 47 seconds. So yeah, very, very, very good. Like I said, I do feel once you get used to this car, you can definitely get it into the under 25 minutes, like the Reddit user suggested. As you can see, 727,500 in 25 minutes. Not too bad in that way. And we got ourselves a 6-star engine roulette ticket. A bit surprising that, but overall, would I recommend you doing this method? Yeah, I'd definitely say so. It's probably one of the most fun methods I've done in this game. Sometimes kind of grinding for money can be very boring. That's kind of why I make these methods for, you know, different cars, different tunes and such. And this is probably just one of the most fun, flat out enjoyable races. No fuel saving, no strategy, just pure pace, and kind of seeing them lap times tumble down is definitely the highlight for me. And it's a very usable car. Obviously I drive manual, no assist, and I found it very, very easy to kind of keep this car under control. So I'd definitely recommend anyone really just trying out this method. So that's going to be the end of this video. Don't forget to like, comment and subscribe. I'll hopefully see you all in the next one. Take care, guys. Cheers.